They're like, oh yeah, guy with Pensy Steam comes in every once in a while. They're not really much. Really test the LED in the headlight, but we'll take this at 10. Proceed to 15. Alrighty, hello everyone. This is Pensy Joe back again with another Train Talks, and well, yes, guys, I said we were going to probably talk about this during the weekend, this past weekend, but a couple things have came by and I had to deal with them. So, not everything goes according to plan. When the missions change, the mission has changed. They always do, as some big green man in a suit would say. Anywho, we're going to talk about Bachmann. Bachmann used to make pretty crappy products, and that was back in like the 80s and stuff like that with the Bachmann Plus line. Yeah, we don't talk about that much. Some people like them. Good for them. I do not judge them. They like what they like. That's fine. Objectively, though, they were not really the best. They were not the most reliable over time, and their value is not really worth that much unless for some reason it's one of the rarest things to ever exist on this planet for whatever reason. I don't know if Bachmann sells something rare on another planet, but to each their own, right? Who knows? That's how they started out. Then they started getting into the more detailed and higher quality line when they started putting more quality into their models. And this line was the Spectrum line. And the Spectrum line's been around for, well, I would say, 10, 20 years until they stopped doing them sometime around 2010, 2012. And one of those famous models that I have in my collection already is the Bachmann K4 that came around during that time near pretty much the end of Bachmann Spectrum. Which is a shame because Bachmann Spectrum Steam, from my experience, and including my club's experience, is by far one of the most reliable steam engines they had. Given that the most reliable locomotive that they had that was a steam engine was a 288 consolidation from Bachmann that was a Spectrum line. The decoder in it was like a Tsunami purple decoder that was like that could handle like 3 amps at least or something like that. It was a chonker of a decoder, and it was DCC sound, and its entire like 10-year life, right around 10-year life, was going up and down the branch line that is at the back of the club layout. It would go all the way up near to the coal mine on Coon Mountain, and then it would go all the way, past a steel mill behind it and go down a slope, and then level out and go past Mount Fakemore that's above the main line, which is the tunnel below it. And it would go around that, and then it would keep going until it reached Rinker, which is the concrete mixture plant where they do concrete and reproduce concrete for cement trucks. And that's pretty much over the tunnel where the 2 main lines go around and exit over a bridge, which is an automated bridge that would go to the rest of the layout, and vice versa. So it was an automated train that would go up and down, pushing maybe 4 cars, and that's what it did during the fair. It would run all day, 12 hours nonstop, both directions, stopping and starting, going at some sort of, normal, yard or branch line speed, not going too fast, maybe around 30, 40 miles per hour in scale. And, it ran really well. And even after 10 years, they sold it. It still ran really well, even when they sold it. They would love to find it again. It's kind of a mistake. It seems by the present that they got rid of it. So to create those kind of specs again would be kind of difficult. But they know it was a black box. They don't remember if it had a clear window or anything like that. But it was definitely a Spectrum line model. Again, it was really affordable too. And that's where I'm going to really hammer here right now, since we're halfway in this video. As you can see, we have a Bachmann HO Spectrum Amtrak Acela 2 with DCC sound ready. That's DCC sound ready. And they want $524 retail. Not MSRP that you see, in the brochures, and you just sit there and just laugh because Bachmann's being silly with their MSRP. It is absurd. It's like a dealership markup, but it's not even true like MSRP. It's probably a lot lower than it really is. It probably maybe a couple of $100 lower than what they're offering at Train World here right now. And it's like, I understand people like Amtrak. I like Amtrak too. I'm not the biggest Amtrak fan in the world like some people are, which is fair. I understand why people like Amtrak. However, the original XL Express train set, you can find those for a good price, even used, and they might be lightly used, no scuffs, no nothing, and they're just used, and you can get it for $250, and you get a locomotive, a dummy, the two motored cars. They're both DCC ready or DCC equipped so that they can do the light functions, and you can put sound in there if you want to as well, but they're already DCC equipped. And there's 3 coaches, the cafe car and 2 other coaches. One of them, I believe, is business, and one of them is first class, I think. And it's a 3-car set. This set is also, 5-unit set. And so is this set. This is a 5-unit set, but they want like $200 more almost, right around there, than the Acela 1 set. Now, I understand it's new tooling, but I know why they're doing this. Some people are like, well, it's inflation, and I'm like, yeah, kind of, but it's also Bachmann getting a little bit too rambunctious with their prices. For example, the K4, if you've seen Trainman 440's video, he explains why he's not getting one, and I'm not getting one either. I'm not getting a brand new one. I don't know how well that motor pulls, but, I feel like that model, the tires on there are not even painted. The drive wheel tires are not even painted. And the older ones were. So I'm like, why is Bachmann cheaping out a little bit on one of their more reliable Spectrum line models? But well, that's just paint. If I could get one of those, I would review it, but it would have to be like $200 because $320 something for a Bachmann model, ain't no way it's gonna happen. Case in point, because I'd rather just get a Broadway one. And keep in mind, I got a 1361. That's a platinum line from Broadway. And a platinum line, for those who don't know, is a DCC ready line. There was only a few locomotives, I believe, that were in there, but the K4 was one of them, and I have one of them, surprisingly enough. And I thought it was a stealth model, which was also a DCC ready line. Broadway had a lot of weird lines in the early days. Besides that, these prices are getting rather ridiculous. If you look at the just for one add-on coach, it's $84, almost $85, close to $90. People are like, well, that's not close. $90 when you round it out if you have to do tax. $90 for a coach, well, it lights up. I could tell you this, right? And we're gonna end this on the high note. I own Joe F TGV sets. If you want to get the set, right, a complete 11 car set, you have to get 6 more coaches, by the way, to complete the set, and they're on there on Train World. You'll probably need around $1,000, right? You'll need around $1,000, and then you have to put TCS, no, not TCS, but ESU Loc sound in there. I would hope TCS makes electric train sounds because I like their ES44 sounds, and that would be kind of cool to put that inside, the Bachmann, Acela 2 train. However, who knows when that's going to happen? So most people are going to opt for the Loc sound decoder, right? So, yeah, I my TGV train sets are like $300 cheaper, and they come with DCC sound. Yes, the coaches are not all lit, but they're still very, very much well detailed, and they run really well. And each coach by them is pretty much the extra add-on coaches are around between $30 to $60. Depending on who's selling it, if it's new or if it's used. So, yes, they don't have lights, but you can buy light kits, and you can pretty much light your passenger cars probably for even with the price of a full TGV set by Joe, for example. Or, for example, I got a $320 base set for, like, you know, the Lima Expert Ice 1 train, right? Each of those extra coaches are like $45. They're not lit, but they're well detailed and they connect together. So that's pretty cool, right? So, but the prices compared to other companies it's just kind of ridiculous. Yes, this comes with track and a controller, a DCC controller or DC controller. But like, Bachmann at least offer like without track set, you know? And I understand, I saw the Bachmann's, you know, reveal with Train World's podcast and whatnot, and I understand you can give the track and, you know, controller to somebody else, and I think that's a cool idea. However, when you have modelers who just want the train set itself, you know, the base set itself, why don't you have that as a, you know, a separate offer for like, I don't know, $350, right? And the coaches are overpriced. I'm sorry. Even with light, they're way overpriced. Like, they have to be rolling on gold bearings or something for them to be like almost $90. Close to $100 if you think about it, per coach. Like, this is not like Rapido or something here, you know? So, yeah, to me, it's getting kind of ridiculous. If you guys think the same way, you know, let's talk about it. I'm down to talk about it. You know, prices for trains these days are getting a little bit too high. So yeah, that's all I have to say about, you know, Bachmann and pretty much, you know, my rant on this whole like price thing going on in the world. And yes, I gave a little bit of, you know, history about Bachmann, and, you know, they used to make affordable but well-detailed models, and now it's getting kind of crazy. I mean, $300 for Chargers and $300 for ACS 64s, it's getting rather insane. It's a Bachmann at the end of the day. Yes, Bachmann's improving their quality, and they're trying to prove that they can make, you know, higher quality models, but Bachmann, if you're going to make those prices, you need to show a lot more detail. I mean, the detail is pretty good, and the lighting effects on, you know, these modern locomotives are nice. But if you're going to start doing this, bring back your Spectrum Steam line if you're going to keep doing this. Because, heck yeah, I'd like to see you compete with Broadway Limited. Granted, who knows if that will ever happen if Bachmann keeps sticking, you know, their foot, you know, in Amtrak. Although, to be honest, they're doing really good with the Amtrak market, so they're taking advantage. Anyways, guys, this is Penchy Joe signing out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, let me know in the comments about what you think. You guys have a great one. Bye now.